Nate Diaz didn't grow up in a place where dreams were handed out. Stockton wasn't sunshine and palm trees. It was sirens, cracked concrete, and a whole lot of people trying to survive another day.
Out of Stockton, where a night of celebration has turned tragic, a number of people are dead and nearly a dozen others injured.
For most kids, that environment crushes you. For Nate, it sharpened him. He wasn't the loudest or the strongest growing up, but he was stubborn in a way only Stockton could teach. He had this natural defiance in him, not against authority, but against the idea of being ordinary. While other teenagers were trying to fit in, Nate and his brother Nick were building a different identity. Outsiders who fought their way into relevance. And every bruise, every struggle, every scrap in school turned into fuel. Nate's story starts not as the chosen one, but as a kid who figured out early that the world won't save you. You save yourself. If Nate is a wildfire, Nick Diaz was the spark that lit it.
He tested positive for the Gomi fight, and they said there was so much weed in his system when they tested him that he had to be high when he was fighting. So what he did was just get ripped. Just completely ripped, and then he went out there and fought Takanori Gomi and just outboxed him.
Nick wasn't just his older brother. He was his guide, his pressure, his standard. Nick dragged Nate to jiu-jitsu classes when they were kids, sometimes forcing him to train when he didn't want to. Nate wasn't instantly great at anything, but Nick wouldn't let him quit, not even once. Their bond wasn't soft or emotional. It was forged in reps, sweat, and the kind of tough love that creates warriors. The Diaz brothers grew up like a small army of two, feeding off each other's anger, ambition, and survival instincts. Everything they did, biking across town, sparring until they bled, swimming in freezing water, became a lesson in mental toughness. They didn't dream of fame. They didn't dream of belts. They dreamed of becoming people who couldn't be broken. By the time Nate was a teenager, he wasn't just Nick's little brother anymore. He was his own fighter.
Most fighters discovered their talent in a gym. Nate discovered his in real life. Stockton wasn't a place where you avoided confrontation, it was where you learned how to handle it. Nate realized early that fighting wasn't scary. Losing wasn't scary. What terrified him was the idea of being weak. He wasn't some explosive athlete or early knockout artist. Nate's power was something much more dangerous. He enjoyed the grind. He liked long rounds. He liked pushing people to exhaustion. He liked when a fight turned messy, ugly, chaotic. That's when he came alive. By the time he started training seriously, Nate wasn't learning how to fight. He was learning how to refine the fight that was already inside him. His cardio became a weapon. His pace became a weapon. His ability to take damage and keep walking forward started to look inhuman. Nate wasn't becoming a star. He was becoming a problem.
What made Nate special wasn't clean technique or highlight reel knockouts. It was the fact that he looked like a man built for 5-round wars even when he was barely in his 20s. He fought like someone allergic to backing down. Every sparring session was a small war. Every training day looked like punishment. And yet, underneath all that chaos was discipline. Nate fought like a man who didn't get tired, ever. You could hit him, cut him, drop him. He kept moving forward like his body was refusing the concept of slow down. This is what turned him from good fighter to nightmare matchup. Nate forced everyone into deep waters, and he knew most of them couldn't swim like him. He wasn't polished, but he was relentless. And in fighting, that's deadlier.
Before the world knew Nate Diaz, reality TV did. When he joined The Ultimate Fighter Season 5, he was quiet, unimpressed, and borderline annoyed to be there. Everyone else saw it as an opportunity. Nate treated it like another room full of people he had to beat up. What made him stand out wasn't arrogance. It was how real he was. No fake smiles, no playing for the camera, just raw Stockton energy. And when the cage door closed, all that calm disrespect turned into razor-sharp jiu-jitsu and endless pressure. He didn't tiptoe through the competition. He walked through it. One by one, he submitted fighters who were supposed to be more polished, more experienced, more marketable. By the end, Nate wasn't just the winner. He was the one everyone remembered. Tough didn't create Nate Diaz. It simply broadcast the truth. This kid was coming, whether the UFC liked it or not.
Winning Tough didn't hand Nate an easy road. If anything, it put him on a conveyor belt of killers. The UFC wasn't interested in easing him in. They tossed him straight into deep waters. And Nate did what Nate always does. He swam. But this stage of his career wasn't clean. He won big fights, lost razor-close decisions, and learned harsh lessons. Fans loved him, but the UFC machine didn't see him the way it saw polished prospects. Nate's personality wasn't marketable. He didn't play nice, didn't cut classic promos, didn't kiss up to anyone. What they missed was the bigger picture. Nate was building a cult following. People didn't love him because he was perfect. They loved him because he didn't care about being perfect. He showed up, fought anyone, talked his truth, and went home. These years shaped him. The losses didn't break him. They sharpened him. By his mid-20s, Nate Diaz wasn't just a contender. He was a storm forming.
Around this time, the UFC was becoming more entertainment-driven.
What is this?
What are them shoes you have on?
This is what a gangster wears!
Well, where are they talking
I
to
took these shoes from a guy.
Part of the rehab. It's part of the
rehab. It controls the blood flow to the leg.
This is European style, my friend.
I'm sure nobody argues with you. You're a rough guy, but I've never seen.
This is slimline European.
Outside of my wife,
These
I've
Yanks don't know how to dress.
These kind of pants before.
Them shoes talk better than him.
Fighters were told to sell fights.
Joe, I don't promote fights. I pick fights. I'm better than John Jones. I'm better than Sean Combs. I am even better than John Holmes.
Talk trash.
I'm number one. So if you are number one, who gives a shit if number two steps out in place of number three? At the end of the day, I'm number one. So it makes no difference who is standing across the Octagon. I'm looking to go in there and represent my nation and fight with pride, and I'm gonna kill this man across from me. He's a little 5'2" twerp.
Play a character.
Brazil, you're a dog. All you filthy animals suck. I got one thing to say. Tyrone Woodley, I'm coming for you. If you don't answer the front door, I'm gonna knock it in and I'm gonna take what's mine. That one to it go.
Nate refused. He wasn't anti-promo, he just wouldn't pretend. If he talked trash, it came from a real place.
Then came Donald Cowboy Cerrone, a fan favorite, a company man, a man the UFC adored. This matchup wasn't just a fight, it was a clash of worlds. The polished cowboy versus the Stockton street fighter. In the build-up, Cowboy dismissed Nate like he was nothing special. Bad idea. Nate fed off disrespect like fuel. When fight night came, Nate didn't just win, he put on one of the most dominant performances of his career. Sharp boxing, endless pressure, volume that looked superhuman. Cowboy, known for fast starts, never got out of first gear. Nate shut him down from the opening bell. Every punch was a statement. Every round was a message. When the final horn sounded, there was no debate. This was a masterclass. That night, the world finally saw what hardcore fans already knew. Nate wasn't a gatekeeper. He wasn't a stepping stone. He was a problem every top contender needed to fear.
Fresh off the Cowboy win, Nate set his sights on fighters the UFC actually promoted, and Anthony "Showtime" Pettis was at the top of that list. Stylish, explosive, highlight-heavy, the complete opposite of Nate's gritty approach. Their beef didn't start in one moment, it simmered over time. Small comments, little jabs, gym stories, egos bumping into each other. For years, fans waited for this fight, and while it wouldn't happen until later, the tension building during this era added gasoline to the rivalry.
After the Cerrone War and the rising tension with Pettis, Nate hit a strange phase in his career. Not a downfall, just a fog. He started getting stuck in contract disputes. He felt undervalued, underpaid, underpromoted. And for once, the fans agreed with him.
February 2016, Rafael dos Anjos pulls out of a massive fight with Conor McGregor. The UFC needed a replacement, someone durable, someone exciting, someone who could save a main event on short notice.
Yeah, Conor McGregor, you're taking everything I work for, mother. I'm gonna fight your. You know what's the real fight? What's the real money fight is me, not these clowns that you already punked at the press conference. Don't no one want to see that. You know you beat them already. That's the easy fight. You want that real right here. Hey, and I'm not.
Unfortunately, we can't talk like that on Fox.
They called Nate, 2 weeks notice. No full camp, no time to prepare for a striker as sharp as McGregor. McGregor was the biggest star in the sport. A win over him would launch Nate into a whole new world.
The build-up to Diaz versus McGregor wasn't a normal fight promotion. It was pure chaos. Conor talked like he always did. Sharp, witty, theatrical, but Nate didn't fall into the trap.
They want you to give us a quick count to 10, both of you gentlemen, if you don't mind, just if you wouldn't mind counting to 10.
Nate can only count to 5. 10.
Oh.
Count to 5, Nate, will you, if you can?
Count.
You up with that coffee.
I ain't counting. How about
And
that?
hurry up with that coffee.
He didn't try to out-talk him. He didn't play the game. He just sat there unfazed, saying,
You're playing touch butt with that dork in the park.
Fans loved it. The rivalry felt real because it was real. No scripts, no marketing department, just two fighters caught from completely different universes. One represented precision, movement, and superstardom. The other represented grit, reality, and the streets. No one expected Nate to win. No camp, no preparation, and that's exactly why he walked into the cage with zero pressure. He had nothing to lose, which made him the most dangerous man in Vegas that night.
When the cage door closed, Conor came out sharp, slicing angles, landing clean left hands, controlling the pace. Nate absorbed everything, calm, patient, waiting. Then Conor began to slow. The Diaz cardio kicked in, and suddenly the fight flipped. Nate's jab started touching McGregor over and over. His reach, his pressure, his volume, it all started to drown the Irish superstar. Then came that moment, a clean 1-2. McGregor wobbled, Nate smelled blood. He pointed at him mid-fight, Stockton style, and unleashed hell. Conor shot for a desperation takedown, the worst thing he could have done. Nate wrapped around him like a snake, took his back, locked the choke. Conor tapped. The arena erupted. Nate didn't celebrate like a man shocked by victory. He celebrated like a man who knew this day was coming. He delivered the most legendary post-fight interview in UFC history.
Nick Diaz, you just shook up the world. How's that feel?
Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
Suddenly, the fighter the UFC undervalued became one of the most in-demand names in the world. Everyone wanted a piece of him. The UFC pushed for an immediate rematch, not because they wanted Nate to shine, but because McGregor needed redemption, and the world was about to watch him walk into the biggest rematch in UFC history.
Nate and Conor had a very back-and-forth match where Conor won by a controversial majority decision. Many fans believe that Diaz won that fight, but Conor walked away being the victor.
What's your thought? Surprise, surprise, motherfucker! The king is back!
And they never had a trilogy matchup. After that, Diaz went on a long layoff.
After a long layoff, Nate returned to the UFC with a focused mind and unstoppable energy. His opponent, Anthony "Showtime" Pettis. After dismantling Pettis, Nate issued a bold call-out, Jorge Masvidal. The BMF title wasn't just a belt, it was a statement. The BMF title fight against Jorge Masvidal was chaos incarnate. Nate entered as the scrappy veteran, Masvidal as the rising star with street cred and knockout power. The cage became a battlefield of wills. The fight didn't go all Nate's way. A doctor's stoppage due to deep cuts ended the bout in Masvidal's favor, but it wasn't a loss in spirit. Nate fought with the intensity and heart fans had come to expect. Every exchange reminded everyone why he wasn't just a fighter, he was an icon. Blood, sweat, and relentless pressure defined every second of the fight. Even in defeat, Nate showed why he was one of the sport's most enduring personalities. Fearless, smart, and impossible to ignore. The legacy of Stockton was alive in every punch and taunt.
After BMF, Nate returned in 2021 to face the young welterweight prodigy Leon Edwards. A high-stakes battle, veteran versus prime contender. The fight went the full distance. Edwards' precision and youth gave him an edge, but Nate's relentless pressure and signature 1-2 combos reminded the world why he was feared. In the final round, he nearly landed a knockout that could have rewritten the outcome, but Edwards survived. Nate's heart, grit, and unbreakable will earned a universal respect. Even in a loss, fans admired the Stockton son more than ever.
2022 saw Nate step into the cage for his final UFC bout against Tony Ferguson, a clash of seasoned warriors, both with reputations for endurance and wild unpredictability. The fight itself wasn't a thriller. 4 measured rounds, grappling exchanges, moments of brilliance. Nate's strategy was clear: maintain control, dominate the pace, and leave his mark one last time. In the end, he walked away with a win, a perfect note to close his UFC chapter.
Not content to stay in MMA, Nate challenged himself in boxing. He faced YouTube star Jake Paul in 2023. Nate's approach was classic Diaz, fearless, disciplined, and a mix of MMA skill translated into the squared circle. Though Paul won the decision, Nate's poise, strategy, and courage turned about into a spectacle. Fans loved every second. After that, Nate also fought Jorge Masvidal in a rematch of sorts and won by a majority decision, proving that he is after all the real BMF. His readiness to take fights that thrilled audiences while boosting his legacy. From McGregor to Pettis, Masvidal, Edwards, Ferguson, and even Jake Paul, Nate's career was about courage, authenticity, and entertaining the fans. He may not have left with every belt, but he left with respect, immortality, and the undying love of the MMA world. If you made this far, be sure to like the video, tell me your thoughts in the comments section, and subscribe to the channel.